Assalamu alaikum. How are you? MashaAllah. Good to see you.
Thank you.
I need to make a note that you were here first. Inshallah. Let me write it down. All the people. Admit all. Admit all. Welcome, everybody. I hope you can hear me. It's going to be fun today. We have Kahoot game. We have a tiny video. We have like fun stuff, fun stuff. So what I'm going to do is let's start with the tiny video while we wait for everybody else to get on. So inshallah, I'm going to start with this, and it's on our, the information on it is also on our Kahoot game.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه.
Can everybody hear this video?
I want to talk about dance. But before I wanted to tell you about this. Take 10, maybe 5 minutes of our day. And it's a deep source of fulfillment. We know the Prophet, peace be upon him, and the companions spent hours day after day, night into the night, praying to the point where the Prophet was blessed people with blessed, even though he knew he was going to heaven. So what was it that connected them, and how can it do the same for us? Even with 5 minutes of our day. Muslim Torah tells us, of course, that indeed in one of the chapters that we're maybe familiar with, it's one of the it says, إزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك. Allah says, and we've lifted up from his burden that weighed heavily on your back and elevated you again. So right after this removal of this burden, we have فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا. فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. So if you find that opening, if you find that time, then stand up, rise up, right? وإلى ربك فارغب. And to your Lord alone, seek His out of seek His devotion for Him, seek Him for out of your love for Him. There's a connection there. SubhanAllah, the Prophet and the Sahaba used to derive deep fulfillment and comfort. Prophet just in a rest of prayer would say, bring comfort and ease to us with that. So what was that connection? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comments on us, of course, yourself out of humility. So there's a connection with that sense of purpose, with that fulfillment, and that rigor, that demand. So how can we bring that to our daily lives? The spiritual experience with the Lord. That may be a source of connection that causes our pain and suffering, as we saw in chapter 1. And to continue doing so, of course, allows our helpful setting every minutes or 10 minutes or so, just to be, even if we snooze it or turn it off, then we have that opportunity. And I would also recommend drinking a lot of water before going to bed, because it becomes an opportunity to wake up in the middle of the night. And then inshallah, for when we are up, to consider that a blessing, a gift, and honor that Allah subhanahu is glorifying us by allowing us to be in this state in those later hours of the night, which are one of those closest to us, that those hours are most blessed when everyone is asleep and we have the intimate, unbreakable contact with the Creator of the heavens and earth. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us amongst those who can in fact develop this into habit, even just 5 minutes in a day, and amongst those who derive a deep sense of fulfillment and grounding from that routine, and that you may allow us to practice it throughout this month, so that we become bigger in it.
Sure. And Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. How's everybody doing? Okay, see if I can put can everybody see me? Okay, I hope so. Let me see speaker view. Okay, there we go. All right, everyone.
Are you in my room?
I am, because the living room is way too loud, because Fatma and Baba are like talking in the living room, so yeah. I'm in Esma's room. All right. So, mashallah, we are now on the 5th juz, which is a lot, mashallah. So we are in the 5th juz. If any of you have been tuning into other programs, notice that you already know the stories that we talked about, right? If you, by any chance, are either reading the Arabic of the Quran, or maybe you are tuning into other programs at night that are going through juz by juz. For example, last night we were listening to Yasser Qadi that does every night, and I noticed that Asma had already heard all these stories from our little program. So mashallah, it's good that we started a few days before Ramadan. Number 2, mashallah, we are now on the 3rd day of Ramadan, which means we are 1/10 of the way done with Ramadan. It feels like it just started, but it's already 1/10 done, because 10 times 3 is 30 and it's gonna be gone. So on one hand, it's a great start. On the other hand, Ramadan always runs away very, very quickly. So let's take advantage of everything we can. I want to go through, inshallah, some verses, some special highlights from Juz 5. So we are right now, inshallah, on Surah Nisa. And I want to tell you about something that's in verse 31. And by the way, we do have a Kahoot game at the end, so it's going to be fun. One of the questions is going to be from that video that we just saw. And that video was about Qiyam, right? And one thing that the speaker said is Qiyam does not have to be something long. It can just be like 5 minutes before Fajr prayer. So if you just remember that, you're going to get that question right on, inshallah, on the Kahoot game, okay? All right, so on verse 31, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Nisa, if you avoid the major sins that you are forbidden to do, then we will erase your minor faults and admit you to a noble gate leading to paradise. So what we need to know is that major sins and minor sins are not the same thing. We all know what a sin means. A sin means when we have disobeyed Allah. We should know that not all sins are equal. There are some sins which are major sins. For example, if a human being murders another human being and takes their life, that's not just a sin, that's a major sin, okay? Drinking alcohol, this is a major sin. We've talked about taking interest or riba, which is a form of financial payment on a loan, which is extra money, that's a major sin. There are some things which are major sins, okay? And then there's some things that are minor sins. Minor sins have a lot more chance to be forgiven, but major sins, it really takes a lot. It takes a lot to get those major sins forgiven. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in verse 31, if you avoid the major sins, then inshallah, He will always try to help us out to erase the minor sins, inshallah, because Allah is actually on our side. He wants us to be successful in the end. Moving on to verse 30, the second half of that verse, Allah tells us, don't be jealous of the material things such as money or fame that Allah blessed some of you with more than others, okay? So one of our beliefs as Muslims is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who gave everyone what they have. Whatever we have is from Allah. Of course, we have a duty to work for what we have, okay? Just like as students, you all have a duty to do your homework, right? To do your work in school. However, if someone has a very high IQ and they're able to get math problems really easily, or they're able to read very quickly, and it might take you more effort, maybe that's something Allah gave one person and not the other. Similarly, Allah is telling us here in this verse, don't be jealous of the material things that we have given to some people versus others. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who gave people what they have. He made that decision. So some people maybe are destined that they never have a lot of money. They're always struggling. Maybe like in a third world country, someone is like driving a rickshaw, or, you know, one of those, you know, farming jobs. They'll never have like a lot of wealth. There's other people who were just born as princes and princesses, and they were just born into royalty and they have so much. So Allah is telling us, don't waste our time and energy to be jealous of what other people have. Just be content with what you have, because this is a very important quality of a Muslim, just to be content with what we have, because we know, you know, it is from Allah, and also we need to focus on the important things in life, such as the purpose of why we are here. Okay, moving on to another verse in this surah. We're going on to verse 33, where Allah tells us men are responsible for the welfare of women, since Allah has given some of you more wherewithal than others, and because they spend of their wealth to maintain the family. Something that is unique about Islam and Muslims is that you know, men are responsible. They have a responsibility over women, okay? And so that means Allah is going to ask them about their responsibility. Other religions do not necessarily have this rule. Other religions do not put this responsibility necessarily on men. So we know a lot of religions out there, you know, polytheism, monotheism. There's a lot of different, you know, religions, a lot of different ways of life. And believe it or not, many of them do not have any rules for women, for men, for elders, for children. And so we need to know and realize that we actually have certain guidelines and rules and responsibilities. So women have some responsibilities that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to ask us about. Elders, children, everyone has responsibilities, and men have some responsibilities. And this is something which is in Surah An-Nisa that Allah tells us that men are responsible, which means they'll be held accountable for taking care of women. So there's something to know. Also, on verse 36, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, serve Allah and do not associate partners with him. Be good to your parents and relatives, and be good to orphans, the needy, your neighbors, whether they are near or far, and also to your companions around you, and to travelers, and to those servants over whom you have control. So number one, do not associate partners with Allah. You know how we were talking about major sins and minor sins? One of the major sins is committing shirk. Shirk means associating partners with Allah, giving somebody else that place in our heart where we are worshiping someone else other than Allah. Perhaps we believe that they controlled something, they created something, or that they have some kind of authority, or that we have fear of the wrong, you know, some wrong deity that's not right. So shirk is, many say, an unforgivable sin. We do not associate partners with Allah. So here Allah is telling us, do not associate partners with Allah. And he gives us some very basic rules of our religion that Allah repeats over and over and over in the Quran, which is be good to your parents, be good to your relatives, be good to orphans, be good to needy. Why do you think we have to be good to orphans? They don't have anybody looking out for them, right? So most of us, when you wake up in the morning, there's a lot of things you don't have to worry about, right? Because you know that someone's got your back. Your parents, somebody is paying the bill, somebody is making sure you're safe, somebody is keeping you secure, somebody who If there's an emergency, there's somebody that's going to call 911 or drive you to the hospital. But for an orphan, that's not the case. An orphan has no immediate parents who is doing that for them. And that's a really big protection that a normal child has versus an orphan. That's a really big thing missing in their life. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us over and over and over that you have to be very, very careful about the issue of orphans. So be good to orphans, okay? And it says the needy and your neighbors. So needy, this is an entire, teaching in our religion, but also neighbors. Neighbors, we are really responsible and accountable. We're going to be asked about our neighbors. Okay, so it's very important that we are good to our neighbors. It says whether they're near or far, and to companions around you. So I do want to really highlight about the shirk in that verse. And moving on to a few verses down on 43, it says, all you who believe, do not come anywhere to perform your prayers while intoxicated with alcohol until you're able to understand what you're saying. Don't pray in a state of impurity unless you're on the road traveling until you've washed your whole body. That verse is very important because number one, no one can be intoxicated with alcohol and come to prayer. So as we know, the Quran was revealed on people who are jahiliyyah, who are not practicing at all. And so because it was a message that came step by step, it didn't just come down in one book, it came step by step. People were still used to their old ways, right? So many of them were still drinking alcohol, doing things that are completely wrong and haram. So one of the things that they were doing is they were still drinking alcohol as Islam was being revealed, rule by rule, yeah? And so here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us and telling people that they cannot come to the prayer while they're intoxicated with alcohol. This is haram. And also, we are taught about purity. Here is an example where Allah says, do not come to pray if you're in impurity. Okay, so when we come to prayer, we have to be in purity, and there are different levels of purity, but that's something we need to know, which is in the Quran. Also, one thing I really want to talk about, which is in verse 58, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, Allah orders you to return that which you have been entrusted to those who are owed. A very, very important quality of a Muslim is trustworthiness, okay? Trustworthiness. And so the word amana is very important. We have to fulfill our amana. We have to fulfill our trust, okay? Let's say if my neighbor says they're gonna travel overseas, they wanna leave stacks of their savings money from their safe with me while they're traveling overseas. They're trusting that I'm keeping their money safe while they're gone. I can't just go spend the money while they're gone, or I can't say, let me just go shopping and I'll just, decide to pay them back, they'll never know. That would be betraying their trust. I need to give them exactly whatever they gave me back the way it was, okay? Let's say my friend leaves her backpack, her purse, her lunchbox, whatever, accidentally in my van, in my house. What do? It is now my responsibility to give her back her possession the way that it was, because a Muslim would not just leave it like that. We are people of trust, and we are responsible. We are witnesses for everything around us, okay? And we wouldn't want someone, to betray our trust or to violate our trust. We would expect a true Muslim to behave in a trustworthy manner with our things, okay? And so trustworthiness, it's not only about our possessions, but also if someone tells us a secret or something that they don't want other people to know, we should not betray their trust, okay? We need to keep their secret, keep their private matters private. And so these are very important concepts that have to do with trust. And a Muslim is a person, and a mu'min is a person who maintains trust and is very, very careful about trust, okay? The next one that I want to bring to attention is in verse 64. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, we only sent messengers so they could be obeyed according to the will of Allah. We need to know that the messengers that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent, it is not random. It is not just something he did that we don't need to pay attention to. The messengers were sent to be obeyed, okay? We are required to obey the messenger. We discussed this in the last juz, that, for example, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is our messenger. We have to obey what he teaches us with his example, with his words. And actually all of the messengers that were sent really had some of the same messages, okay? So all of them said, respect your parents. All of them said to spend in charity. All of them said to fear God, tell the truth. Basically, they all taught the same things. Maybe there were just a little bit differences because of the circumstances, right? So, you know, maybe one prophet said, you know, that their holy day was Saturday, and then the next one, maybe they said Friday. But these are, you know, just details that varied. However, the messengers came with the same message, that believe in one God, okay, and to do these good things on earth, and to, you know, to spread goodness and to stop mischief. Also, another thing to remember in verse 86 of Surah Nisa, Allah says, when someone gives you a greeting, return it with a nicer greeting than that, or one about the same, for Allah is keeping track of all things. So this has to do with our adab, our manners.
What is that?
Yes, so it has to do with our adab, and we need to really be careful that we need to care about people that we interact with. We need to respect people. Our adab needs to be of a certain standard. So the standard Allah is giving us is, if somebody says salam to you, at least give the same good behavior back by giving the same kind of salam back or better. Don't just ignore somebody. Don't just give something worse. Like if somebody says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, then you should also say, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. It should be the same amount or better, because we always are told to reply with something better. And there are some places in the Quran where Allah even teaches us that if someone does something bad to you, return it with something good. So the behavior coming out of us should always be something better than that which we are given. Next point that I want to bring up is in verse 89, where this is something we also touched base before. But here Allah says the hypocrites only want you to cover the truth like they covered it in their hearts. Then you'll be on the same level. So don't take best friends from among them until they migrate for Allah's sake. The reason I bring this point up is last time we talked about how it's very important who we choose as friends. So here Allah is actually reminding us that don't make best friends with people who are not really purely believers or pleasing Allah. I mean, you may have to deal with them, you may be friends, but don't take best friends. And it's actually throughout this surah that's mentioned. But once again, it's very important who we pick as our friends. Another very important verse is in, the number is, I believe, 94. Actually, it might be 95 here. Yeah, 95, sorry. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, the believers who sit at home without a valid excuse and who never get hurt are not equal to those who struggle in the cause of Allah with their money and their persons. Allah has granted a higher grade to those who struggle and use their money and their persons over those who sit at home. It is possible to be a believer. Okay, here's what Allah is telling us. It is possible to be a believer, but the one who makes more effort, more sacrifice, goes through more, goes out of their way more, does more, they are going to have a higher grade, okay? They have a higher status with Allah than the person who just sits and does nothing. And I think that we can all understand this. So in other words, you know, we really need to do our best to strive in Allah's path and realize that, you know, we're not all equal. We need to try to be the best that we can be. Okay, let's see what else we have because of time. Yes, mashallah. Okay, I think that we actually got through the verses that I wanted to right in time for the Kahoot games. We have 5 minutes. I want to share with you the Kahoot game. Let's go to the Kahoot. Bismillah. And hold on. Let's see. Everyone get your Kahoot on, please. And okay. So today, the game pin is 4798913. And while we are loading this Kahoot, oh, what just happened? Why did it do that? Okay, let me try this one more time. I'm sorry. Because I think that it just went. Bismillah. Okay. All right, 2773140. I believe.
Get on quick. Zoom. I mean, Kahoot.
Okay, let me make sure that we are able. There we go. Yes, some people are getting on. 277-3140. Make sure y'all can see that. Yeah. All right. Very good. Okay, so we've got 8 players. Mashallah. I hope everybody can see the screen. Are we ready? I know we have a few more people in here. We have like
3 minutes here for me.
15. Okay, yes.
Hello.
I think we had like 15 people in here, so we want to get a little closer. It's 11 right now. Okay, I think we're going to start. So the first question has to do with the video that we saw. True or false? It is okay to pray Qiyam for only 5 minutes before Fajr prayer. Is that true or false? Meaning the Fajr time. Yes. So what the video told us is we can start a habit of praying Qiyam, even if it's just 5 minutes before the Fajr prayer. You don't have to pray for like an hour or 30 minutes before Fajr. You can still pray Tahajjud and Qiyam just 5 minutes even before the Fajr prayer comes in. Let's go to the next. Okay, good job, girls. Next.
Miss Mona. Miss Mona.
Yes.
When I was trying to listen to the video, I couldn't understand anything she was saying. It was really glitchy.
It was glitchy?
Yeah, the whole time.
Oh my goodness, the entire time it was glitchy?
Yeah.
Oh,
I couldn't.
you couldn't hear. Okay, I'm really, really sorry about that. Let me see why maybe that happened. If anyone else had that problem, let me know. And I'll just try to figure out what was happening.
I had the same problem.
With the glitchy? With the glitchy?
Yes.
Okay, okay. I will look into that, inshallah. I hope that next time it's not as glitchy. Here, the question was true or false. Major sins are worse than minor sins. Is that true or false? You guys all got it right. Major sins are worse than minor sins. That's true. Okay, very, very good. All right. Number 3. An example of a major sin is what? What's an example of a major sin? Not sharing your Kit Kat, killing a human being without a just cause like murder, missing a nafil prayer, or eating biryani instead of koshari. What is an example of a major sin? Excellent. So murder would be an example of a major sin. Okay, it's really, really going to be hard to get forgiveness for that. Okay. So the next one, wow, good job, Asya. Number 4, jealousy can make you feel, we talked about being content. So jealousy can make you feel ungrateful, sad, angry, or all of the above. How does jealousy make you feel? So the second point we talked about was about jealousy. And the answer is all of the above. Very, very good. We still have Asya, Ufu, Asma. Very good, very good. Number 5, true or false? Muslim men must behave with responsibility because they're entrusted with leadership. Is that true or false? We talked about Muslim men. They have to behave with responsibility. Excellent. Most of you got that right. And we still have winners. Okay, number 6. Shirk means, what does shirk mean? Denying payment of zakat, forgetting to put salt in the iftar, associating partners with Allah, or performing hajj in the wrong country. What does shirk mean? Very good. Most of you got the right answer. So we talked about shirk. Shirk means associating partners with Allah. Okay, the next question. Number 7, true or false? You're allowed to pray while intoxicated with alcohol. Is that true or false? You are allowed to pray while you're intoxicated with alcohol, and that is correct. The correct answer is false. You are not allowed to pray while you're intoxicated with alcohol. Good job, girls. Number 8, what is amana? Amana means what? A chapter of the Holy Quran, trust, recipe for holy food, codes written by the Quraysh. What is the meaning of amana? Good job, exactly. So amana means trust, and as Muslims, we have to behave respecting the amana. And our very last question, no, we have 2 more. Messengers must be obeyed in Islam. Is that true or false? Messengers must be obeyed in Islam. What does Allah tells us in the Quran? And that is correct. Very good, very good. And the last question, true or false? You're rewarded according to the level of your struggle. You are rewarded by Allah according to the level of your struggle. Is that true or false? That was one of the last things that we talked about, and the answer is excellent. Okay, so all of you did amazing. Let's see who our winners are today. Lena the Kiwi, excellent. 9 out of 10. 10 out of 10, foo-foo. And first place is 10 out of 10, Asia. Excellent, great, great, great job. One thing I want to talk about, hold on. Okay, I'm really sorry about the noise. Let me somehow get this. So before we leave, I want to remind you that the challenge, let me stop this thing. Wait. Okay, so the challenge is due today. So long story short, those of you that are in the contest, a new share. Okay, I don't know.
Wait, what? Can you explain the contest again?
Yes, so I got a warning on my Zoom that it might stop on me because of I don't know if there's a 40-minute limit, but if it does, I'm sorry, I'll try to rejoin right back. But what it is on the contest, after you download that app, basically the first question I had, which we had 3 days to answer, was just for you to make a healthy dish to share with your family, and then tell us what that is on the chat of the group, meaning this Ramadan app group, and to send me a picture on WhatsApp. So that could be like a bowl of washed berries. It could be hummus with veggies. It could be a salad, anything that you make for your family. And we had Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to do that. So it is not too late for you to do that first challenge question. Remember, whoever wins this entire thing gets a $100 gift card from Amazon. We're gonna have two.
What's the
Yes.
the thing on the computer? What do we search up for it?
Okay, so first go to the app, which is myramadan.app. Go there.
Ramadan.app, okay.
Yeah, and then you download the app onto your device. It'll download on your iPad or whatever. And then after you download it, I can try to do it really quick here. If it doesn't cut me off, myramadan.app, there we go. And let me try to screen share. Share my screen, please share my screen. Bismillah. Okay, here. Okay, so if you can see my screen and you go to landing.myramadan.app, you can pick App Store or Play Store, and then you download it. Once you download it, okay, then you are going to have it on your phone. Go to the connections and find the Girl Scout group. So here, I'm gonna show you what the group looks like really quick. So, Bismillah, troop, trying to get this in before I get cut off. Okay, so ours is the Mass Girl Scout group. Do you see how this says Mass Girl Scouts? When you go in there, we have this many members right now. So it's showing 28 members. So I've got all these people on here. And you are able to chat. Do you see how there's like these chat boxes? That's because you are allowed to chat in the group. So all you have to do, you can check the message where it tells you what the challenge is. So it says the challenge is make one healthy item to share with your family. And I'll give you like to do that. Just at least answer that and say, I washed some berries, or I put vegetables with hummus, or I did this, or maybe you cooked something. It doesn't have to be a cooked dish, but that was the challenge that we gave for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Just one time, you just write that answer.
Wait, how do you answer? I wasn't able
So
to
you
do
just
it.
go in here. So you see the chat. Let me go down to my one so I can show you. Right here, well, so actually this is my desktop. Let me see if I can show you my phone. This one, I really hope it doesn't cut off on me, so forgive me if it does. Here's what I'm gonna do. Stop the share, and I'll show you my phone. So on my phone, when I go to connect, and you go to, so I don't know if you can see the glare over here. You see how one of the groups is here? So I'm gonna click on that. When you go in there, there's a chat. So if you click the chat at the top, it shows you everything that we've been talking about. So you see.
And also, how do you find that group? Because I'm not able to find the group on the app.
Okay, so to find the group, you just go down to, okay, at the very bottom, It says home, dua list, habits, learn, or connect. Go to connect, and then go pass down, not my friends, but go to my groups. Then when you go to my groups, it says join a group. So you just click on join a group, and then you'll see one of the choices, Mass Girl Scouts group. Once you join that, you can chat any sort of answer that you want to.
Oh, do we send the picture on the Girl Scout WhatsApp group?
So yes, the thing is that this app doesn't have a way of sending pictures, and that's why I sent the picture to my phone somehow. But this time, so what I had asked is just say, so this time at least just say what you made for your family. Okay, it could be anything. Really.
Wait, so also, how do you get the chat on the WhatsApp? I don't have that contact for the.
Okay, so your mom has, your mom definitely has a WhatsApp connection with me. So I was just asking for a picture, but I'm gonna make it easier for y'all this time. Forget the picture, and all you have to do is say what you made for your family, okay? And so if you need help, definitely just call me or message me. But all you need to do is go into that group and just say, I made this dish. And that's your challenge number 1, done. We're probably—
When's it due today?
It's due tonight because that's the 3rd night. So we had Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, okay.
I'll probably put a new challenge tomorrow. And probably in all of Ramadan, we'll probably have like maybe around 10 challenges. And we'll see who completed them the best. And then the first prize, we have a $100 gift card. Second place, we'll try to get $2 $50. Third place, we'll get like 4 third places, like 25. But it's just like, you know, cute little things. I'll give you a little hint. We watched a video about doing qiyam and how it only takes 5 minutes. So probably within a week or so, one of our challenges will probably be something to do with that.
Oh, that's cool.
It may be tomorrow's one, but it might be sometime this week because it's just trying to create a habit. That's what that one Yaqeen video was about. Okay, so I hope everybody enters and gets that in. It says on up here, I only have 2 minutes left on my meeting. It's gonna cut me off. So let me go ahead and do a closing dua. It's really, really good to see all of you. Realize we are 1/10 of the way done with Ramadan, even though it feels like we just started Ramadan. And all of my du'as are, you know, go out to y'all, and jazakallah khair for joining. And one more tiny thing, I heard that y'all that go to Iman Academy, you guys have like class till 3:45. So I know that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I can do 4 o'clock, but Monday, my daughter has something, and so I have to figure out what time it's gonna be tomorrow. And if you have any suggestions, just let me know, or tell your mom to tell me what time. Does anyone know what time they have class tomorrow at school? If you want to just turn on your, let me unmute you guys. Okay, now you're unmuted. If you know the Iman Academy kids, if you know what school day is.
Wait, Miss Mona, I'm also this time.
So let me do this. Let me do a quick dua before the entire Zoom meeting cuts off on me, because they give me a limit. I have like 1.5 minutes left. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a dua. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر.
Yes.
تواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Jazakallah khair to all of you. It's really good to be with you, and inshallah enjoy.
Miss Mona,
Yeah, what's the next challenge? What's the next challenge?
the Iman
We're gonna
Academy
decide
schedule
tomorrow.
starts at 11:30 and ends at
Okay.
3:45 on Monday.
Okay, 11:30 to 3:45. Thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
So we can figure out what
Okay.
time is going to be good for tomorrow, and then the other days we
Yeah,
can do
okay.
like 4 o'clock. Thank you so much, everybody.
Assalamualaikum.
Okay. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum.